This is episode 2 of my new game guide series, the Limgrave Loop. We start at the Gatefront Ruins site of Grace. This is where the first map fragment is. I picked up all the map fragments ahead of time to make this a bit easier. This route is going to hit every overworld NPC and Flask upgrade in Limgrave. The first thing you want to grab is the whetstone knife down in this basement. You need this to change Ashes of War and the affinities of weapons. You don't have to grab this right now, but I wanted to point out that it is here. Next we head through Stormgate and up the hill. I will be ignoring most enemies unless they get in my way. Stormhill has our first golden seed, which we grab, and then we ride past these wolves and get the Stormhill Shack site of Grace. Don't forget to accidentally gesture while trying to grab the grace point, and if the wolves try to bother you, just give them a good bonking. I really struggled to pick up this stone sword key for some reason. Speak to Roderica and she'll give you a gesture. There's an item inside Stormvale that you need to advance her questline. Next we'll head northeast and pick up our first Physic Flask upgrade. I veer slightly off course here. Try not to piss off this giant and grab the Strength Knot Crystal tier. We'll be getting the Physic Flask. You need to use this a little bit later in the video. Be careful when you jump down this cliffside. The fall distance is close to lethal. Don't jump off, just kind of run off the cliff. And right here we have the War Master's Shack site of Grace and Bernal. He sells Ashes of War that you can swap at any site of Grace once you have the whetstone knife we grabbed at the beginning.
Not seen you before. Name's Bernal. Let me ask, are you here? Does your despite?
Continue east through this enemy encampment until you see a rock ledge on the right side of the path. Up here you'll find Alexander. Hit him in the ass with charged heavy attacks to free him. Then, get back on the path and grab the Saint's Bridge site of Grace.
Don't dally. Give it your all. Oh, that's... well, aye.
Be sure to snag the 2 smithing stones on your way across the bridge. Continue east across the bridge and down the path until you reach D, Hunter of the Dead. Then go down the hill and grab the Summon Water Village Outskirts site of Grace. The boss here is pretty easy and worth 2,400 souls, so you might want to fight him now. Or you can backtrack back up the hill a bit and get around the ridge and then head southeast. I forgot to do this and had to trace the cliff line to find a way down. Maybe there's a more direct route and I'm just dumb, but whatever. We're headed to this group of stone coffins. These things are scattered throughout the Lands Between, and they're always covered in free runes. This spot has about 5k in rune items, which is way more than you get from defeating any minor boss in Limgrave. You can also grab the Fever's Cookbook 1, which lets you craft sleep pots as long as you bought the crafting kit from Kale at the Church of Ella. Jump across this small gap and talk to Kenneth Height.
Interested in rescuing the... well, that no. Despite you might have... Young Tarnish, I want you to... Knight Commander.
Then head down the ruin and east along the road until you reach the Third Church of Marika. Ignore the giant. Grab the Grace and pick up the Flask of Wondrous Physic. This is a secondary flask that you can fill with all kinds of things. Right now we can only use it to heal ourselves with the Crimson tier and increase our strength with the tier we grabbed earlier, but we'll get more soon. There was also a sacred tier here that I completely forgot to grab. Now we head south towards the minor air tree until we intersect with the road. Then follow the road west until we reach the second map fragment. There's a big scary bear here, but he'll leave you alone if you don't mess with him. Just south of the map fragment, there are two more Physic Flask tiers. The Spiked Cracked tier, which temporarily strengthens charged attacks, and the Green Spill Crystal tier, which temporarily increases maximum stamina. In the Mistwood Ruins just west of here, you can find Blythe. To talk to him, visit the ruins, and then go talk to Kali the Merchant at the Church of Ella and ask him about the Howling. He'll give you a gesture. Then return to Mistwood Ruins and use the gesture near the center to speak with Blythe. I didn't include this just to save time. Follow the road south to reach the Fort Height West side of Grace. Then, go up the hill real fast and snag another golden seed. Go back down the hill and head west to get more free runes. These ones are guarded by wolves, so you'll need to be a bit more careful. This spot only has 3,600 runes, but that's still more than you can get from defeating any boss at Limgrave. Kill the wolves or give them the slip, and then teleport back to Gatefront. This concludes the first part of the loop. You could do this second part of the loop first if you wanted to, it doesn't really matter. Head east through the Gatefront ruins and grab the Aguil Lake north side of Grace. Continue east until a bush starts talking to you. Roll into Bach the Demi-Human and then continue east along the road. If it's nighttime, you'll have to evade the Knights' cavalry that guards the bridge. Head left off the side of the path to hit up the Waypoint ruins. This mad pumpkin head boss can be pretty annoying at low levels, so just summon the wolves that you get with the Spirit Calling Bell. They're perfect for keeping him distracted so you can land jumping heavy attacks. Once you break his posture and take the critical attack, he should be almost dead. This character is level 1 and his weapons have no upgrades, so most people should probably be able to win like this. Talk to Sorceress Selen if you want to learn some sorceries, and then grab the Grace Point, which I of course forgot to do. It is very difficult to record footage for a video like this without missing any minor details. Head south from the Waypoint Ruins to get more free runes. Only 2,200 runes at this spot, but again, that's pretty useful this early in the game. Now head southwest towards the large stone archway south of the lake. I forgot about this bit, and I had to backtrack in the footage. Bloody Finger Hunter Yura is hanging out underneath the stone arch.
You do well to stand at his feet, so stay clear.
Now go back to the road and grab the Aguil Lake south side of Grace. Again, I forgot to do this. Instead, I got stuck on the cliffs trying to get to the Bridge of Sacrifice, which you could just go south down the road. Be wary of the explosive ballista when crossing the bridge, and don't forget to grab the 3 smithing stones and the stone sword key off the ground. Grab the Bridge of Sacrifice side of Grace, and then go over to the road and speak to Arena.
Hello, might I bend your ear? My name is the Servant's Day, but I swear my good father decided him.
Now head south through the valley until you reach the Castle Morn Rampart side of Grace. Again, if it's nighttime, then you'll have to avoid the cavalry that patrols here. Head through the broken wall and south to grab your 3rd map fragment. Then southwest a bit on top of a rock to grab another golden seed. Be wary of the giant archer. Now, go towards the castle and grab the Castle Morn Lift side of Grace. There is an NPC inside Morn Castle, and also several inside Stormvale Castle, but those are outside the scope of this video. Now we teleport back to Castlemorn Rampart and head west. Go up the hill, hook a right, and jump into Caillou Baptismal Church. Here we get a Sacred Tear, which improves how much health the Flask of Crimson Tears gives. I missed one earlier, so you should already have one. Now escape the rats and teleport back to the Bridge of Sacrifice. Last bit now. Ride west along the cliffside until you reach some flower enemies and the Faith Not Crystal Tear. Then climb west up the hill to the Church of Pilgrimage. Grab the Grace Point and another Sacred Tear, and then head southwest along the cliff towards the 4th Church of Marika. Snag that Grace and one more Sacred Tear. And that concludes the Limgrave loop. I run this every time I make a new character. There is one more NPC in Limgrave. His name is Patches, and you can find him in a cave along the river north of Lake Agheel. But aside from that, you have now spoken to every non-merchant NPC in Limgrave, except for the ones in the Legacy dungeons. You can now head back to the Church of Ella and use all the items we picked up. You should have 2 more Flask charges, 4 Flask upgrades, I forgot the one by the Physic Flask, so I only have 3, and the Physic Flask itself, as well as silver options for it. You should also have enough smithing stones to upgrade a weapon twice. Next in this series, I will cover some strategies for tackling the early game dungeons.